your report, General Tobias?
Everything is secure on the grounds, Lord Regent.
It won't hurt to check again. I'm going to head down and retire to my bedroom.
Please. Please don't hurt me. You're here to kill the Regent, aren't you? Spare my life, and I can help you beat him. The audiograph card you want is in a safe in the Lord Regent's room. But I was able to see the combination over his shoulder. 935. Trust me, what's recorded on that card will do the trick.
The music.
I remember when the Empress and I used to chat in here. We would take tea, discuss any number of things. This was my chair. Things have changed. Remember to have tea sent up later. Remember to have tea sent up later.
You fucking stupid bitch! This stupid fucking justice, all fucking righteous fucking nigga!
How's it going, lads? Hope quarantine is treating you well. So right off the bat, I'm just going to try and say I don't defend Keemstar and I don't condone the actions that he's done in the past. No, I don't agree with it, because this beef between himself and Ethan is just kind of a shit show. So what do I think about the discount content cop that Ethan made? Yeah. Meh, it's alright. It didn't really strike anything new, because a lot of the stuff in it was repeated to death by other people. The only thing that really stood out to me was the Oris Glorian Goldman. Just that was something new to myself. In terms of research, that was in it. It was pretty fucking abysmal, really. And, you know, I'll get to that in the video. I think if you want to learn more about it, there are people who've done much better jobs than I will. Kavos did a video on the research that wasn't included. Critical did one on sponsored and cancel culture. I need to follow up one which is also interesting enough. And the player from Uranus did one on Bashiverse. You're probably wondering why, but you know, Bashiverse, that's a story that I talked about in this a little bit. And you know, if you're interested in it, there's a 70-minute documentary about it. It just, TLDR, it kind of sounds like Keemstar used them. So now they've got all the foreplay out of the way. So what happened? So we know that G Fuel is pretty much a big sponsor of, you know, of Keemstar. They've been working together for years, and there's G Fuel all across Keemstar's table. It's pretty much a staple of his brand. But in Ethan's video, he repeated numerous times, talked about G Fuel, like, it was almost as if he was begging for his viewers to do it, or to go out and, or tell G Fuel to not sponsor this evil man.
Keemstar's got a bottle of G Fuel somewhere in his house that's actually a Horcrux. How is G Fuel still sponsor this guy, by the way? G Fuel brought to you by false pedophilia accusations. Chug it, G Fuel.
Get it now at gfuel.com.
Go fuck you. This one really went under the radar, but I find it really disturbing that Keemstar, the day after this murder happened, was able to get this kid on his show, fully monetized. Keemstar cashed in big time on this whole ordeal. And I also, if I recall correctly, the interview brought to you by the SWAT murder was also sponsored by G Fuel. Use code Keem for 10% off of your life expectancy. Real talk. If you suffer from panic attacks and you're old enough to drink, the best way to stop a panic attack, real quick, is to have a sip of beer. You only need like 3 sips. Brought to you by Dr. Daniel Keemstar. Sponsored by G Fuel.
Thing you did in this video is an absolute first for YouTube. You went after my sponsors.
Because I criticized G Fuel, which nobody should go after people's sponsors if they're inhuman fucking scum. Stop fucking!
Like, I know in your news video you did say that it wasn't intentional, but you'd have to know your fan base, man. You've been on YouTube for years. Like, not only did you take down his main supply of income, you know, the company's been working with for years, your Reddit cronies are now trying to take down this podcast on Spotify because this rabid cancel culture which you fed into. Like, it's one thing to go after someone and their career for shit they've done in the past, which, okay, it's kind of sketchy in the first place, but alright. It's another thing to go after someone's sponsor because you're basically cutting off their main supply of income, and it's just basically you're blanketing or trying to mask it as this thing for justice. Fuck this. Now, originally for this part in my original script, I was going to make fun of how ironic it would be that, you know, that one of your sponsors would drop you. Well,
and I have some interesting stuff to show your goddamn sponsor. Now, a huge update just came out from this story. It looks like Old Spice, one of H3H3's well-known sponsors, has dropped H3H3. That's right.
Does it feel good though? Chaos made a good point in this video where he would talk about how sponsors be kind of afraid to sponsor like edgy content anymore because they'd be afraid of the backlash from stan accounts and the harassment their employees would face.
Because as a result of this, G Fuel and Keemstar are no longer working together, and Ethan's fans are going after not just G Fuel, but Keemstar's Spotify contract where he has his podcast. This is what you have now caused, Ethan, because you encourage this behavior. Instead of using valid arguments, you go after the sponsors and attack their sponsors to try and ruin their income. We're opening the most dangerous can of worms now. What? So every time a YouTuber disagrees with someone or gets in beef or says something controversial, everyone should gun for their sponsors. I hope everyone watching can see how moronic that is, even H3 fans, and decide as a group, as a community, that we will never do something like that again, because if we start doing that, there will be a brand apocalypse. Brands will not come near more edgy creators or even normal creators with a 10-foot pole in fears of being called out because their creator might have said something edgy or might have made one mistake.
Critical did a video there a little while ago talking about cancel culture, and as I said, sponsors. His newest one, he did mention about 4chan and them having this thread where they're trying to go after big YouTubers like Philip DeFranco, H3H3, iDubbbz, trying to get them so that they won't have any sponsors anymore. I did do some Reddit detectiving on 4chan because I initially used to go onto it for a while, and they are doing it, yeah. Apparently on one of the threads, on one of the threads that they have, he mentioned that Ethan is dropped by Old Spice, which I knew already, and they're now dropped by Adam and Eve. And Honey, the free website browser, is now investigating strongly. And Keemstar is pretty much faced no backlash other than G Fuel. It's kind of fucking backfired, honestly. It's hilarious. Smile for YouTube is not a innocent person, because in Ethan's video he was saying how he was a family man. Okay, sounds innocent enough. I agree with that. What's not innocent is the fact that Smile for YouTube was a serial doxer. He swatted numerous people in the past, and he even extorted people. Like, how would you leave such essential details like that out? This code is fucked. Just because he is a family doesn't mean that he's exempt from his past actions, Ethan. If you did the same thing with Smile for YouTube, then does that mean that should you not apply the same ideals to Keemstar because he is a kid? And no, because it's Keemstar and Keemstar is evil.
Now, before I talk about this, I do not condone doxing in any way or any form. But again, Ethan leaves out some incredibly important information just to make Keem seem like he was attacking this poor, innocent father who had kids in his house.
This is a man that's willing to endanger children over a petty internet beef.
And in reality, Smile for YouTube, the man Keem did dox, was the biggest scumbag in the community who harassed, doxed, swatted other YouTubers constantly, including Keem. In DMs to Basher, you can see him and Keem talking about Smile for YouTube. Basher says, "Good interview. Smile has been doxing us, swatting my mother multiple times, trying to trick us into large sums of money so he can charge back and screw us. and so much more for months and months.
In fact, in the next video, I'm going to address every single other bullshit you've taken out of context. I'm going to address you literally turning the guy who swatted me and swatted my mods on stream into a victim, which one of the best researchers on the whole goddamn YouTube, the platform is Gamer for Mars, who literally DM'd me this. In disbelief that you used that. I'm going to address every single thing.
I think that him getting doxxed by Keemstar is, it's pretty sketchy for a lot of people, and I know that. I understand that. But, it was kind of fair for him because he got what he was coming. He got what was coming to him. Like, after so many years doing it, would you not think the same thing would happen to him? But, still, Ethan, you should have done at least much more research than one Bing search. Now, you made this video for like a month. You should have known better. I think a lot of people agreed with this part, saying that you shouldn't have included it, because it was really fucking unnecessary. The fact that you dedicated nearly a third of your video's runtime to Etika's death, okay, which was nothing to do with Keemstar, or not directly, while insinuating that it was his fault, is pretty fucking disgusting.
Keemstar's greatest moment comes when he asks Etika in a manic state, why doesn't he just jump off a cliff?
If you really think about it, then why live? Just jump off a cliff. Just jump off a cliff. If it's just a simulation, who cares?
Of course, hypothetical, but it is quite a coincidence when you consider that only 51 days later, that very same YouTuber jumped off a bridge to his death.
What is up, Drama Alert Nation, and everyone else that's going to see this video? This is not a Drama Alert video. This is not a news video. I'm making a video today responding to a video that was uploaded yesterday by H3H3, where he accused me of various things that can be proved wrong, completely out of context, just plain wrong. But the most damning thing that he accused me of is killing Etika.
It's so cheap to try to boil down my entire 46-minute video to me saying you killed Etika, which is a point that I never even made, let's be honest. Of course, hypothetical, but it is quite a coincidence when you consider that only 51 days later, that very same YouTuber jumped off a bridge to his death.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
I think what's worse in this situation is that, Etika's girlfriend supported Keemstar at this time because she knew that it wasn't his fault. But what your fans did was harass her to the point where she had to private her Twitter and she had to private her social media because we found it acceptable to harass and to bully the victims of a loved one's suicide. Isn't that fucking depressing to hear? The fact that that's socially acceptable in our day and age. After rewatching Parsonicle's old video on Etika's death, it has more meaning now because of your need to attack Keemstar by using his friend's death.
Etika's death has proven to me that the internet is just full of vultures. All these people just come out the woodwork to give their opinion, and nobody asked you. Etika's passing has proven to me that there's scumfucks willing to capitalize on absolutely anything and everything. I just hope he's in a better place. I just wanted to make this video because everyone seems to be focused on J-Station, but not these other scumbags that are actually trying to profit off his death. Anyway, rest in peace, Etika. Joy-Con boys for life.
Like, resorting to having to lie, and to butcher a story for your own egotistical gain, just to put you up on a podium above everyone else. Like, it wasn't needed in the first place, and it wasn't even needed now. Because, believe it or not, I think it would have been his birthday. You know, like, fucking sad that is, the fact that you had to talk about someone's death on his birthday. That's pretty fucking depressing. While I won't disagree that Keemstar might have put him in the right place, considering the toxic atmosphere around him, I can agree with that. Yes, Keemstar did tweet out some pretty untasteful things, I'm not going to fucking deny that. But at least he's admitted that he was wrong to do so, although really he's not exempt from criticism nonetheless. Mother Heart's response video showed how much of an impact Etika did have on people, and while I didn't know him personally, I know a lot of people said that. It still came to a shock for me because he just seemed like such a bubbly and energetic guy. It's just sad to say that you had to include someone's death to slander their friend.
Hamburger.
Basher vs. Career is a sad story that, had you replaced with the unnecessary Etika section, you would have made a better video against Keemstar and his past actions. Like, honestly, from the video I did see from the Gamer from Mars, it felt as if he was used by Keemstar for his own profit. Now, that's what I thought, but I would highly suggest you do watch the documentary that the Gamer from Mars did to get the full view of it. You know, in that situation, everyone has turned out for the worst except Keem. You know, Basher is just a sad, depressed shadow of his past self. His ex-wife's on camgirl sites, and he has no friends. That was just pretty fucking sad to hear. I don't know, my nose is acting up again. Oh. Where's my medicine? All the soil. The good shit, nigga.
Now for a minute of Keemstar acting like an absolute moron.
Keemstar has been stirring up a lot of trouble for people in the YouTube community, whether it be him fabricating information.
Pyro legitimately invited a large YouTuber to go to a furry convention.
Or straight up lying about situations in a pathetic attempt to slander another individual.
Pyro was trying to hook up with a 13-year-old girl from France, alright? That he was technically like a pedo or a weirdo or something, right?
Again, alright? Your Twitters, gone. Your fucking Twitches, gone. Your YouTube channel, gone. I am untouchable, but you are not. You've lost everything. You live with your mom and dad, alright? Live with your mom and dad and make no money, because every little outlet that you had to make a few bucks is shut down by me. And I'm going to continue doing it over and over and over again, because I have something you don't have. I have friends that work at Twitter, friends that work at Twitch, friends that work at YouTube. I am fucking untouchable, but you are not.
I'm not going to try and exempt Keemstar from the shit that he's done in the past, because really, he shouldn't. You know, what he did was pretty fucking egregious, and especially with the RuneScape streamer, Horus Glory and Gold.
The good news from our content nuke is that Tony, the guy Keemstar accused of being a child predator, was showered with love and support from our fans, which I have to say is in stark contrast from the attention that Keemstar sent him. So I thank you guys all for showing Tony love.
I can't believe the unbelievable, fantastic day I just had. I mean, this gentleman named Ethan, who is H3H3, made a video and sent more love to me and my family than you can possibly imagine.
That was a sad story to hear, and you know how he got so many death threats and whatever after it, and you know, to see that he was happy that Ethan talked about it, that was really nice. But continue with the trend in this video, you did forget to mention a few things. More specifically, that he had said in videos in his past that he'd forgiven Keemstar. And that he's done some things to him, and you know, to make up for the shit that he's done to him. But you forgot to include that, and that's been a running trend in your video.
You don't give the whole picture to this story at all. You say Keem acted as if him and Tony were good. It wasn't just Keem who acted like that. Tony himself did. Tony actually fully forgave Keem and praised him, sang his praises relentlessly on stream. But Ethan completely fails to mention that. On February the 8th, 2017, just 5 months before Tony would make that tweet calling out Keemstar again that Ethan references, which was July 2017, Keemstar called Tony and they had a long chat. Again, only 5 months before he made that Keemstar tweet.
But I want to tell my stream I'm talking to Keemstar. Every time I've ever talked to him, he's been a perfect gentleman, been really, really accommodating to me, been really, really nice to me. So seriously, since we talked the very first day, I mean, since some bullshit happened, when me and you talked the very first day, you were really nice to me. And like I said, I've always gotten the impression you're a nice guy. And I know that if you don't want to be nice, you can be not nice, okay? But you've been nice to me, you know what I mean? And so why do I give a shit about anything else? You know, in life, you got to worry about how people treat you, not what everybody else's problems are. You know what I mean? Honestly and truly, I had some pretty big YouTubers wanted me to talk and want me to say this shit and that shit. And I told them, I'm not going to do that because you're asking me to lie, okay? You've been nothing but nice to me. You know, what happened over a year ago, who gives a shit? I mean, that's really the truth. And nobody should be mad at you because I'm not mad at you. Does that make sense? I have no problem telling the world that. If I made a bad mistake and it messed with you, I'd want you to get past it and I'd want you to forgive me. Does that make sense?
Like, even fucking hentai has less plot holes than this shit. Now, when I was doing a little bit more investigation on this shit, like fucking the Reddit detective that I am, one of the threads I saw up on 4chan made a good point where you had a meeting with Susan Wojcicki a while ago talking about content creator harassment. And, like, what are you doing now but you're harassing another content creator? Like, just because he's Keemstar doesn't mean that he's exempt from this rule that you've basically made. Like, he's still a fucking content creator and he's still a human. But no, he's Keemstar, he's a monster. So he doesn't suit this rule. I think Murderheart made a good point where, had you made this video about the Toby Turner rape accusations, like, you would have done a much more damaging video against Keemstar, but you didn't. Because you want to know why? Because you had to include Etika's death, which you shouldn't have. You left out pretty vital information about Ors, Glory and Gold and Smile for YouTube. And you basically, like, cut off someone's financial supply. Doesn't that just show how much of a petty and manipulative individual you are to leave out such vital information? And then not only that, there's a running thread with the videos that I've seen, like, on YouTube talking about the shit that you left out. The like to dislike ratio was completely fucking bombed. Like, Chaos has like 50-50, even less. Review Tech USA has like 75% on one of them. Because you're rabid fans and they're not willing to fact check everything. They're just taking everything face value. Like, that's just showing how manipulative you are. So yeah, I hope really at the end of this that you won't get Anthony Ethan out of this, nor would Keemstar. Except for me.
Sure, I'll survive.
Yeah, no. Why?